Alrighty, so I wanted to go ahead and walk through this with you guys. I know that we're all pushing right now, and I can see that more than ever in our push group, which I'm absolutely loving watching you guys just totally kill it in there. But I realize that it can sometimes feel scary to invite to something if you don't really feel confident about it. And something that I've learned so much through personal development, shout out Brendan Burchard, is the more competent you feel about something, the more confident you're going to feel about it. That's why we do trainings. That's why I just got accepted into our worship team in our church. That's why I'm going to go through weeks of worship training, because when I get on stage, I'm going to feel so much more comfortable because I've become competent about what to expect and what to do. So to kind of like erase some of that fear when it comes to a challenge group, I wanted to do this topic for you guys tonight to kind of take all of that stress away and just show you how actually super, super simple this process is. So I don't really do any flashy themes or anything like that. I don't like host these crazy named groups. I actually don't feel like I ever post the name of the group. I don't sometimes come up with it until the day or two before, but I am very diligent and very consistent in my inviting process, in helping people see results, and really bringing them a legitimate group that's going to help them see the results that I'm talking about to them. Because nothing's worse than inviting to a group and feeling like not feeling confident in your group. Nothing's worse than trying to help somebody see that this is possible for them if you don't believe that it's possible for them. So it's all about believing that within yourself. So I know in the push group, we've been talking about setting a date for a challenge group. And maybe you're a brand new spanking coach and you don't even know where to begin, and that's fine. But I want you to understand how vital this is, because what I used to do is work backwards. I would hurry up and try to sign people up and then create a group, thinking I have to have people before I can create a group. But we should be thinking the other way around. We should have a date set that is just set in stone. No matter what, I'm going to fill this group with 3 or more people and help them change their lives. Because if we're working the other direction, then we're just kind of playing scared. We're playing cautious, and we don't have that goal that is like set in stone and no matter what, which that's what Success Club should be. And that's the point of a challenge group. That's the point of a coach. So what I do is I have a start date. So I don't typically share in my posts on social media the exact date. When it starts to get really close, I start saying limited time only. It's coming up soon. We kick off Monday. Because what will sometimes happen is, like, for example, my next group, my group's kicked off this week. And somebody could have decided in their head before they even talked to me that, oh, I couldn't do that. Like, that's during Halloween. Like, there's no way. And especially in these months coming up, like, someone could possibly see your post, say you have a group starting that's like right before Thanksgiving, and it's going to be perfect for them. But in their mind, they're like, no, like, it's Thanksgiving. I'm not even going to reach out. So you just want to really create that curiosity, okay? Create that urgency and really beef it up to how incredible it's going to be. I don't share, that it's going to include Shakeology, and it's going to include Beachbody On Demand, and it's going to include this and that are very like coachy terms, I guess. I mainly share, it's going to provide you all the tools that I utilize, because by now I've shared my journey authentically. I've shared things with them without having to talk about a group. And so they've been watching me, they've been listening to my story. So at this point, I'm going to say you get access to all the tools I use. It's going to give you fitness, nutrition, and support. 30 minutes a day, that is something you can do from anywhere, at any time. And it's going to be nutrition that is simplified, and support that is one-on-one and on your cell phone so you can't run from it. I love saying that. Those are just ways to describe it, even in a conversation with people. Because, guys, people get super afraid of things that they don't understand, so like, keep it really simplified. People don't necessarily understand Shakeology, or they've heard of it before and they're not a huge fan of it because somebody told them it was a protein shake, or somebody told them it didn't work. I don't understand that ever. But find your own way to talk about those things. Find your own language when it comes to Shakeology, when it comes to workouts, when it comes to the groups. I set a prep week before my groups. So I want to give you kind of an example. This entire last group that kicked off yesterday, they had an entire prep week before that. And the reason I did that was because I signed a couple people up about a week ahead of time before even the prep week Monday who needed something to plug into right away. Because what we don't want to happen is for people to kind of sign up and then just fall off, like literally just stop talking to us and just kind of go in a bubble before they even have a chance to begin, before they even have a chance to become engaged with us. So that's one of the points of a prep week. It is to help them prep, because we're trying to help people see results here. So throwing everybody in there on Sunday night and saying, okay, like tomorrow we're going to kick off and I can't wait to help you reach your goals, that doesn't bring much confidence to them, right? Because they haven't built that competence around the eating plan, around Shakeology, around the workouts. So that prep week is kind of that, it's the point of it is to create that awareness, that competence around the programs and the meal plan and Shakeology, and kind of get them comfortable again. So it's like when they get on stage, or, you know, it's Monday morning and they're ready to go, they feel comfortable and they feel confident in what they're about to do. And people are going to see so much better results from that. The other thing that I use prep week for is kind of to get those stragglers. So those people who I've been talking to, they've told me no over and over and over again, but finally they say yes. And that prep week creates that ultimate urgency. So all these people that have told you no, and all these people that have maybe not responded to you, now is your chance to say, I'm getting ready to close up my group, and I just didn't want you to miss out on a spot. Are you still interested? There's still a chance for you to get involved. Because now that we have this on demand, they can access things within 24 hours. And even if their Shakeology is a little late, trust me, they are going to be dying to drink it, because they're going to be seeing everybody else in the group drink it. So the prep week is really important for a lot of reasons. And one is being to help people see better results. Two is to kind of continue to fill your group, even though it's already kicked off. It gives you a place to put people that you've signed up way long time ago, and it gives you a chance to kind of get those last minute people and really, really, really push and hustle for it. The other thing that I want to mention to you guys is the first thing that you want to talk to your challengers about is Shakeology. So as soon as you sign them up, you're going to send them a welcome email, which I will share with you guys in the team page. I'm not going to share it right now just because I think my computer is going to freeze if I try to do that. And I might have lost my notes. Oh. Okay. So in the welcome email, for example, I talk a lot about Shakeology. Hey.
Sorry.
I started because I just wanted to do the recording anyway. So just kind of jump in and listen in. A lot of the beginning was about things that you talked about in the push group this week. So
okay.
Getting into the meat of the challenge group. So basically, the first thing I talk to people about is Shakeology, because Shakeology is honestly everything. Especially when it comes to them getting results, when it comes to them becoming a lifetime customer, when it comes to them maybe potentially wanting to coach, when it comes to drastically changing their health, Shakeology is to me number one. So I used to strangely just not talk about it. Like, oh, did you like it? Cool. This needs to be the first thing that we're asking them questions about, because retention on that is super, super important to grow your businesses. So I kind of had to take this leap of faith a couple of months ago. I'd say it's when I went full time. I started bringing every single person on as a customer. I didn't even deal with the hey, well, there's this option when you sign up if you want to be a discount coach, which is going to give you monthly discounts on your Shakeology. I just went straight ahead and said, let's go ahead with this option. That way, within 30 days, you have the chance to either continue your Shakeology with a discount that I can provide you, or you can cancel it. No big deal. You're not locked into anything. And what I've really found is people are opening up more to Shakeology because they don't feel this pressure that it has to be monthly. And I am helping them become more open with it, because the number one conversation we have is, do you like Shakeology? Every time I check in with them, how are you liking your Shakeology? How is it making you feel? Because the more you can help somebody say those things out loud, the more they're going to convince themselves that they want to continue it, and the more belief that they're going to have in it, and the better results they're going to have. So the first question I ask my challengers, even before the group starts sometimes, if they've been in there and I know they've gotten their package, I'll say, have you tried your Shakeology yet? That's the first question. Do you like it? Did you find a recipe that works for you? Because nothing's worse than them going through the whole group and not liking it, and you didn't even know, because they probably were making it wrong, or they just didn't have the right mixture, or you needed to warn them, this is really important, that it's okay if their body doesn't react to it the way maybe they're expecting at first. So it's kind of like if I went out right now and got a full meal at Taco Bell and drank an entire Baja Blast, which I used to do. If I did that right now, I would literally be in the fetal position, because it would rock my body so hard that I wouldn't even be able to probably move. It would very, very much so upset my stomach. So take somebody who is maybe used to eating Taco Bell every day, or used to eating a ton of saturated fats and fried foods and really like sugary, salty foods and things that are really hard to digest, and give them an entire dose of Shakeology. They could potentially react to that in a way that might not seem good. Okay, so actually my boyfriend Darren, when we were doing shift shop, he didn't use the bathroom for a week and he was super freaked out. He's like, what's happening to me? My stomach feels really tight. And I'm just like, and I'm like, honestly, it's the Shakeology. Just give it time. It's going to work through your system. And it eventually did. So if that's happening to some of your challengers, don't just be like, oh, you must be allergic. I do know that sometimes people can be allergic. I mean, there's like a bajillion ingredients. So if that's the case, that's the case. But a lot of times, if their stomach's hurting, they're bloating, they just need to do a half a scoop, or try to do one every other day to get started. And remind them of that. Remind them that they're putting this wildly nutrition dense thing into their body. So if their body's not used to receiving that kind of nutrition and nutrients and vitamins, then it's going to take a second for it to absorb that. But something that I learned, and this is kind of going a little bit off topic, but I just think it's so important to be educated on something like Shakeology, is one of the reasons why it works so well and it does so much for us is because of our digestion. Digestion is like everything when it comes to weight loss, weight gain, because, okay, so if you consume a ton of saturated fat, for example, or high fructose corn syrup is what I watched this video on. If you're consuming a lot of that, it is killing the things inside of your body that absorb nutrients. And then when you eat, it doesn't know how to break down the food, so then it stores it as fat. So what Shakeology does is regulates your digestion, literally has things in it that helps you break down food. That's why, like, even if we have pizza, every now and again, or wings, we don't put on 20 pounds from that 1 or 2 or 3, maybe weeks of eating bad, because we're still getting those nutrients that help us fight food like that. Does that make sense? I just think that's super fascinating and a really cool thing about Shakeology, and another way that you can kind of talk to people about it. Okay, so when it comes to kind of sharing our groups on social media, I kind of said at the beginning, it's important to be sharing authentically, weeks and through that, showing your journey without maybe attaching that invite. And I know I touched on this a little bit with you, Sierra, in the push group, and I'm going to use that as an example. She made this incredible post. And at the end, it was just very subtle. And I know I do this a lot, but it's typically on the weeks that I'm starting to invite, that I'm behind the scenes, like hustling to invite to a group. So I do it on the outer post as well. But it was a really great story. And then at the end, it was just a very subtle, like, if you want results, just let me know, or something like that. Very like one line. And what I wanted to make sure that she understood was, it's not a bad thing to use a story to back up an invite, but you also want to make sure that you're telling your story sometimes without a call to action, because then it's like, if you always have that call to action, it doesn't seem as legit, because people are, they don't really understand what you're inviting them to. So once you put some consistent challenge group invite posts out there, and they're going to be, you know, around the time that you're filling your group, then people are going to be like, you know, maybe the next time that you do that one liner, if you want details, let me know. My group closes soon. Now they can connect that, oh, let me know means because of her group. Let me know means she runs these virtual online groups that I can be a part of. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, I share things a lot in my Instagram story. I just recently did something with a poll, which was really effective. Kind of just asking, like, what do you struggle with most, fitness or nutrition? That's a conversation starter. So my other question was like, what do you guys think? Should I get bangs or not? Yes or no? Again, yes or no? And that was cool because I was like, oh, like a lot of people think I would look good with bangs. Maybe I should get them again. But it was also like, how do I really message you and be like, bangs, yay or not? So think of things that you can connect with people with. So I was going to do a poll with like, should I get one of those back holder things for your phone? And what I was going to do was when people said yes or no, I was just going to message them and be like, oh, like, how did you get yours? Like, why do you like it? Do you feel like it helped you with your hand cramping? Because that happens to me. Things like that. I don't know if that makes sense. And it's like a mom asks for recommendations for your kids, things like that. And then reach out to them and be like, girl, like I totally, you know, do snack time like this. Like, or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, do you do snack time like this? Yes or no? And then that's a way that you can connect. So create curiosity with your posts. And then when it's time for that challenge group post, make it very, you know, I love backing it up with a story. Helping people put themselves in your shoes is very important when it comes to that, because you're now giving them a problem. You're relating to them with a problem, a very picturesque problem that they can kind of insert themselves into. And then you're like, okay, here's this solution, which is this group. Does that make sense? Okay. So legitimizing your group is really, really important as well. When I discuss the challenge pack bundle, I tell them that it is attached to the group, because there's so much value that comes in the group that I really feel like that should all work together. And it just seems like they're getting more for their buck, rather than it's like, okay, I'm just going to get all this stuff and fail probably, because you know, a lot of people have done something like this before and they fail because they don't have the support. That is the number one thing that you want to emphasize when it comes to these groups. And maybe it's your first group, or maybe you've been a coach for a year and you just never really feel like you've really given it your all, but you're going to now. You have to have that belief in yourself going into these conversations, because at any second of any day, we can change the type of coach that we want to be. Like, we have that opportunity. So think about that the next time you're inviting and as you're preparing your next challenge groups. So I always send a welcome email, and I'm going to share this in the team page because I don't want to try to share my screen right now, but I'll share the graphics that I use. It walks them through Shakeology recipes. It walks them through how to access their workouts on Beachbody On Demand. It walks them through how to see where their meal plans are. It walks them through what my challenge tracker app looks like, so they're not like confused by this random invite, but they just know to be expecting the invite from my challenge tracker app. And then what that I think does is give them the opportunity to kind of like see everything once. And then in prep week, we talk about Shakeology. I have this like short Shakeology testimonial video. I think everybody should just make one, like 5 minutes, tell your Shakeology story. It's in the Misfit Legion Learning Center as well, like how to create your Shakeology story. But that is like day one. That is, to me, the most important thing. So I talk about that on day one. And I just share my experience with it. And then recipes for that as well. I share how to find the meal plans, and kind of behind the scenes, I'm talking to them about, are you going to do 21 Day Fix, or do you think Shift Shop would be better for you, or T25? And then I help them see where the meal plans are for that. Recipes, tips that I've learned. I always post on like Friday to clean out your cupboards. That's just kind of like a fun little thing I realized, like, hey, here's a tip, clean out your cupboards, get the cookies out of there, get the chips out of there. You know, you're not going to eat it if it's not there, unless your cravings are that bad. And then I just recently started doing this little packet for homework. It's their homework. It's their before photos. So I just loved the legitimacy of how we all come into Shift Shop with Misfit Legion, and everybody saw like insane results. And I really believe it's because we kind of just went all in with those before pictures, with those before measurements. I know when I take before photos, I want to see progress. Like that's the point. And as you know, I know now that we're also kind of much farther in our journeys, it's not always about progress necessarily with what meets the eye. But for these girls, it is. When they're starting out, we want them to see that they've made changes. And that typically isn't just going to happen from the scale. So I really love making them send me before photos and before measurements for accountability. I'm finding that they're more engaged with their results, and it also kind of like legitimizes your relationship. Like, listen, I'm your coach. I'm here for you, and this is what a coach does. The coach, I push you to do things that you're not comfortable with. So that opens up that trust a little bit more as well. All right, so as far as like posting daily, I'm not going to tell you guys like Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday. I think it's important that you take each day to kind of just share what you would feel on that day. You know, put yourself in their shoes. On day one, I always say, like, this is the first day of the rest of your life. Like, you have the opportunity right now to completely transform the rest of your life with these 21 days. And it's kind of one of those things where, like, once you run one group on the Challenge Tracker app, you can always go back to the post library and schedule those exact same posts to just circulate group after group after group. So say this is your very first, like, I'm taking this seriously, I'm kicking ass, I'm helping people see results group. Do it to the extent of, like, put your heart and soul into those posts, change them up every now and again. You know, I if I feel inspiration, I just sometimes throw it in there. But you can reuse those as your morning posts. Other things that I do that I really found kind of created that quick response was in the evenings, just comment something that you're proud of. Comment something that you overcame today. And then before we start, I have them all introduce themselves. Introduce yourself, get to know each other. But what's really important is, like, you guys are in there interacting with them. So the more you interact with them, the more they're going to feel like they can interact with each other. And I've just really found that to be really powerful when everybody is like, oh, like, congratulations, you know, and you did awesome. Because on Sundays, we always share kind of like a win of the week. And I don't necessarily make that about results. It's more so like, what did you overcome this week? Did you not eat French fries when you really wanted to? Things like that. You know, helping people recognize their internal wins is going to carry them much farther than only focusing on their external wins. They will see external wins when you help them focus on their internal wins. I hope that makes sense. And then on the weekends, I do something like Call Me at Your Workout Time, which is just for a little extra accountability. But besides that, you know, behind the scenes, I use the messaging thing on my Challenge Tracker app. I love it because it always goes back to my email, and that's just where I can keep everyone. So it's simple, and sometimes I'll just do like a mass message, like maybe it's a Friday, and I'm like, you've got this, like, you can do it this weekend, like, if you need anything, I'm here. And sometimes they are that simple, you guys. You don't always need to feel like you have to come at them like Mother Teresa and just have all this inspiration and motivation. People just need to know you're there for them. And that's the biggest point of these groups. Show up for them and be there for them. Message them and ask them how they're doing. Message them and see if they're struggling with anything and need help. And that just goes such a long way. Like, I used to look over that and think that, like, you know, I needed to have this incredible email campaign and all this extra stuff and all these extra things. And to be honest, like, all I needed was just to be like, hey, I'm here for you. Like, what do you need from me? How are you doing? How are you feeling? What can I do more for you? What can I do that's more for you? What are you not understanding? And check when they're logging their workouts. But what I found, and I kind of said this before, by signing everybody up as a customer, almost, I don't want to say everyone, because there are people that just disappear. That's going to happen. But more people will convert to coaches if you take it very seriously in these groups to help them see results, help them fall in love with Shakeology, and fall in love with the community. Let them know that there's a next group, that we have that graduate group, that you've got this online fitness community that they are going to gain unlimited access to, and excite them about that. They will convert to a coach and become a discount coach. And you know what's special about that is that was their choice because they love the products, not just because they signed up and they're like, oh yeah, I want this discount. they will transfer for the discount, but because they love Shakeology, because they love the communities. And that's just a stronger relationship that you've built there, if that makes sense. So I just want you guys to like have an understanding that groups don't have to be this like flashy, crazy eccentric thing. It's all about you putting your heart into it. And as long as you're putting your heart into your people, you are running a successful challenge group. That is all there is to it. So I have like things in the team page, and there's a video on how to navigate my challenge tracker app. But the number one thing that you need to take away from this is what's important is helping people see results. And I used to think like I couldn't do that. I really did. I mean, Sierra, you were with me. I ran a really awful health bet group back last fall that I just stopped participating in. And it was like one of the hardest things to ever get over as a coach. I felt like the biggest failure because I'd let my challengers down. And do you know why I let them down? Because I was overthinking it. I didn't feel good enough to be in there and to be coaching them because I just didn't think I had all this and I didn't have all that and I lost passion for it and I gave up because I felt like a failure. I didn't feel good enough. And that's not what these groups are about. These groups are about creating a safe, trustworthy community for people and being yourself, showing up for them because they deserve it, not overthinking it because you need flashy graphics, but just being there for somebody every single day. And I know once you do that once, you are going to be so lit up by what happens in those people's lives that it will be hard to not get you to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, filling groups, getting people results, and over time building this incredible organization around people that love Beachbody. Because a year ago, I couldn't hold a diamond rank. I didn't have any lifers. I didn't help people see results. I was too afraid that I wasn't going to be good enough. And when I just changed it to, okay, how can I just be myself and be with these people? Like literally just hold their hand and ask them hard questions and be there for them. And when I started doing that, everything changed. Like, I know, Sierra, you just moved and it makes me so sad because I'm going to try to do a team and challengers meetup when I'm in West Virginia. Maybe you could drive down. I don't know. But you guys have become my family, and these girls in my graduate group have become my family. And it's just really incredible. So that's what I want for you guys. And I want you to not overthink it, but be excited about it. So that's all I have. Do you have any questions, Sierra? Or did you want to comment on that?
Okay. Oh, I'm on mute. Yeah, no, I mean, let me know. I'm only like an hour and 15 minutes away.
Okay.
And I mean, my mom and dad are down here, so we'll definitely be in Fairmont. I mean, a lot. So
yeah.
But no, I'm obsessed with this push week. It's been super helpful, and the tips and everything have been great.
Good.
So I've been taking my notes and
I can see that you're doing things and like I just want to touch on that like that's how simple it is. Like when you just take action, do you not just feel this like, oh my God, momentum? Like it's not as scary as I thought,
yeah.
It's hard to wrap our head around that sometimes. I'm going through something like that too, like moving my leadership forward. A coach reached out to me today and she's like, so what's going on? And I realized it tonight actually at church that we sometimes just fantasize so much about these next steps, like the big vision. And we don't realize that it's very realistic. Like it's very realistic to just participate in a push group and just do the action every single day. It's not more complicated than that. So I'm so glad you're loving it. I'm just so glad that you're applying it. That is the number one thing. Like show up in there every day and do the work and see what happens in the next 7 days. And then keep doing that as you keep going. You're killing it.
Thanks.
It's the short hair.
I know, right? But sorry I'm late. Like I said, we went to dinner tonight and it was way later than what I thought, and
that's okay.
I'm glad I jumped on, and
I'm glad you did too. I wanted to just go ahead and do it because I know this will be really valuable for everyone. I know this is actually a really hard time for like half our team, but I appreciate that, and I know that a lot of us are getting on Misfit Legions calls, so I appreciate that from you guys too. But just keep plugging in. I'm really excited for where the coaches who are showing up are going, and how we're going to finish this year. So I will let you know about the little meetup. I think it's either going to be on like a Sunday, maybe the 5th in the evening, or one of those evening nights between Monday and Wednesday. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know, and I will try to be here.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well,
Thank
that's
you.
all I got, girl. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.